Welcome to the WedPro Podcast, the podcast for WedPros no matter their stage. We are your hosts, Katie and Roxy, and this is the WedPro Podcast.
Hey, lovely listeners. Welcome to another episode of the WedPro Podcast with Katie and Roxy. I'm Katie, and as always, I'm joined by the fabulous Roxy. How's it going, Roxy?
Hi, hey Katie. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm doing great, and I'm really excited for today's episode, and we've got something really special in store for all you lovely listeners.
Absolutely. Today we're going to dive into the world of wellness, and we're kicking it off with a bit of a challenge for you, actually. We want you to commit to focusing on one thing for the next 180 days, something that can become a habit, and we're going to tell you why.
That is right. And, habits are the building blocks of, a healthy, successful life. When we create those positive habits, we're essentially setting ourselves up for success in all areas of our life, whether it's something to do with work, whatever it is.
And why 180 days? Well, research suggests that it takes about 66 days, so about 2 months on average, to form a new habit. But we're going to give you that extra buffer to really solidify that change for you and your business.
So what's the one thing that you might want to focus on? This could be anything from committing to more family time, becoming more visible in your business, or even incorporating a new wellness activity into your daily routine.
Yeah, I think really the key is to pick something that is going to align with your goals and your values, and really have a think about that change that you want to make this year, whether it is maybe it's to get fitter, maybe it's to take more you time, maybe it's time, like you said, to spend time with your family, or learn a new skill, or be visible in your business. But once you've identified that one thing, we encourage you to use that concept of habit stacking. And that's a really powerful technique where you can integrate that new habit into an already existing routine.
Yeah, and I have actually done a little bit of habit stacking in my personal life over the last year, and the more you do it, the more it becomes easy. And this is how you do it. So if you decide to spend more quality time with your family, you can then do 2, 3, maybe even 4 minutes of that per day to begin with, and then stack it into your daily routine somewhere, and then each day continue to do that, and then it will really help you disconnect from work. You can put away your devices and be fully present with your loved ones, and then eventually you won't even have to think about doing that habit, like, oh, I've got to spend more time with the family, because it will just be incorporated into your daily routine, like checking your emails.
Yeah, I think one of the things is about, like, we don't think about brushing our teeth, do we? Because it's something that we just so ingrained because we do it so often. So this is why we're challenging you. Now my voice is going, Roxy, what have you passed over to me? It's really, we don't think about brushing our teeth because it's just ingrained. And this is why we want to encourage you to really have that 180 days, which is about 6 months, because by the time, yes, you may have to think about it for the first, 30 days. Maybe you need to set an alarm to remind you to do it. What you're going to find there is that you need to really get motivated to maybe make this change, whether it's to show up and be visible in your business for 5 minutes every day, whether it is to put your phone away for 15 minutes and spend quality time with the kids and be present with the children, whether it is to learn a new skill, learn an instrument, learn a new language, whatever it is. What's going to happen at the beginning is that you're going to need to be motivated to do that activity, and maybe you're going to need to set an alarm. But what's going to happen over time is it's going to just become so ingrained and so natural for you to just do this. And that's where we really see change happen. That's where we see that compound effect of things really stacking up. And really, the benefits of habit stacking are really immense. And what we really mean by habit stacking is, and why it's so successful to do it in this way, is that if you attach it to something you're already doing in your day, it becomes so much easier, and it makes that new habit feel less overwhelming and more manageable because it's already attached to something that you've already been doing. So for example, if you're getting up and the first thing you do in the morning is check your emails, then you can maybe ingrain a new habit for the next 10 minutes you plan to get visible in your business, and then you are visible in your business. So every morning it's emails, and then you're going to do something where you're visible in your business. Maybe you're going to post an Instagram story, maybe you're going to hop on a live, maybe you're going to go and check in with your audience some way, maybe you're going to make a new connection, something like that. But it's already stacked to something that you're doing inside of your business, and that makes it seamless and really increases that likelihood of success for you carrying on.
That is absolutely right. And I've actually really loved doing habit stacking this last year. And the more you do it, honestly, the easier it becomes. And I found out and learned loads about this with a book that I've been reading called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I will put the link in the show notes so you'll be able to access that. And the golden nugget here is that I want you to track your progress as well. So whether it's through journaling or on an app or even on a simple calendar, even in a notebook, tracking those activities really help you stay accountable. And then as well, you'll be able to see the positive changes that are happening around you in your life.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think, you're going to be able to just think to that future version of you where you think,
Yeah.
gosh, I've been doing this now for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. And that is going to compound and have an effect. It's going to, once you've committed and started seeing results from this habit, you're going to notice that new opportunities start to open up for you. Success breeds success. And those small victories are going to absolutely lead to bigger achievements, more opportunities for you. It's 100% like a ripple effect.
It is, and what I mean by that is by focusing in on one thing, it then turns into the habit, and then it's creating that foundation and that ripple for a more balanced and fulfilling life. Imagine dropping a stone into some water and seeing that ripple effect. That's what will happen with habit stacking.
Yeah. So for the first part of this, what we want you to do is we want to challenge you to really take a moment to think about what you want out of 2024, and really take the next 180 days to invest in yourself, create that positive habit, whatever it is that you want to do, and watch that transformation happen.
Yeah, that's right. And remember, we are in this journey with you. So we want you to share your experiences with us, any challenges and all your successes with us on social media using the hashtag WedPro Wellness 2024. And we can't wait to see your progress, and we will be here cheering you on.
Yeah, I love that. We'll definitely drop in and see and track. One of the things that I'm doing, and I actually popped it on to social media yesterday, was committing to be 2% better every day. So so I want to take 2% me being better and 2% action, because that's really going to compound, like money that you put in a bank. And then when the bank gives you interest, it's not just the original money that you put in the bank. So if you put £50 in the bank and then the bank gives you some interest, and you may get, let's be really generous here, let's say you get £10 interest. I
Nice.
mean, that is the bank of Katie every day. Wouldn't that be wonderful? And then you don't spend that money, you don't touch that money. Next month you're going to get interest on £60 in the bank, and then the month later it compounds and compounds and compounds. So it's, this is what we want you to do with this habit stacking. And what I'm doing with the 2% better every day, well, those 2% add up. And by the end of the year, that's a lot of percentages. So 2%, I'm committing to taking 2%, inner work and 2% action for 2024. And just something quite simple that I can do. And that's the habit I want to focus on for this year. And I know that you're going to come along and do that as well, Roxy.
Yeah.
Part of some things that we're doing for this year as well. Right, for the next part of this podcast, what we want to do is talk about well-being, really. And, as business owners and wedding professionals, we quite often find ourselves just immersed in the hustle and the bustle of making everybody else's, dreams and perfect days come true for our clients. And we give a lot to be able to creating those magical moments for other people, working really, really hard, especially through the summer months when the rest of the world seems to be on holiday.
And while we do love doing what we do, it is really easy to get caught up in that whirlwind and forget about your own well-being. I I do this all the time. Probably why I've got a bit of a sore throat. We're coming off the back of Christmas and New Year. probably not been looking after myself as much. So that's something I'm definitely going to be changing already. But here is the thing, when we take care of ourselves, it's not just a personal benefit. Studies have consistently shown that when you do prioritize your own wellness, your work performance actually improves.
Yeah, this is right. Like there's a study that was done by Harvard Business Review that found a direct correlation between employee well-being and workplace performance. So taking care of yourself doesn't just make it better for you, it makes you more effective in your professional and business life as well. And I think quite often, you know, it's something we all know we should be doing. And we all know, yes, in an ideal world, we'd be getting enough sleep, and yes, in an ideal world, but we've got a lot of demands on our time, whether it's children, whether it's caring responsibilities for other people, whether it's just family life, business, etc. Aside from the challenges and things that are going on in your business and just the endless number of tasks that need to be done, it can sometimes feel really, really difficult to be able to prioritize even a couple of minutes. And I know that it's something that a lot of people will think, yes, it's something I know I should be doing. And what we want to do is just give you some examples as to how, we've incorporated some wellness into our life and some wellness into our business. And we are busy people, aren't we, Roxy?
We are, yeah. Like, as you all know, like we have a lot of parts to our business that we need to show up for. But actually, I used to feel guilty for prioritizing me and that self-care, and I think, oh, like, okay, I could be doing this, but what if I did that for my business that I need to get done for tomorrow? If I do it today, I'm ahead. But now I think, no, that can be done tomorrow. Put myself first, put whatever it is I want to do first. And I enjoy that feeling of that balance, because that's what it's about. It is about getting that balance right, and I have definitely not got that balance right over the last couple of years, 100%. And then also let's bring it back to the wedding industry. We know firsthand that the emotional and physical demands that come with working in this industry, you need to think of yourself as the heart of your wedding business. And what does the heart need? It needs care, it needs attention to be pumping life and blood around your body. So just like that, you need to nurture yourself as the heart of your business and look after you in order to be able to look after your business. It all comes from the heart. It all starts with you.
That's right. It absolutely starts with the basics. And yeah, let's bring it to some ways how our listeners can just, find little ways to incorporate wellness into their lives and business for 2024. Somebody said to me a few months ago, I paid to have a session with a coach, and they were like, oh, there's no point, trying to be less busy because we're busy, or, squashing feelings down. And, because sometimes it can feel like you're wading through mud, right? Like there's so much to do. There's a lot of demands on our time as business owners. There's a lot of demands on my time as a mother and a woman. And, there's no point, this person said to me, trying to ignore that, because it's not going away. But what we can do is just find little moments of how we can make things the best of themselves, sprinkled all throughout our day, all throughout our week. So, when we take a shower, we're going to make it the best shower ever. So we're going to put the music on if that's what you like to do, or we're going to use the most loveliest like smellies, and maybe we're going to light a candle, maybe we're going to bring out the expensive bubble bath, whatever it is. Some of the things that I do to just sprinkle a little bit of wellness and joy is, I buy myself flowers out, or I buy my daughter flowers. My daughter really loves to receive flowers from me. And that makes me happy because they're in the house. And when I put her to bed, the flowers are there. So I'm getting some enjoyment from the flowers as well. And I've started to light my expensive candles. So I would buy candles that, a little bit on the pricey side for home decor, and never light them. I don't know if anyone else does this. I need someone to let me know whether they do this or
They
not.
do, not me. I like all those candles. I like smells. I'm a smell person.
Yeah, so now I'm like, sod it, I'm lighting the candle. I've bought a diffuser as well, and I'm loving, using that. And it's just about making little moments. So if you're going to have a cup of tea and, you're going to get the nice mug out and you're going to spend 5 minutes in total peace and quiet, and make it the best cup of tea. And these are just, you know, little things that have really transformed the way that I've looked at my life over the last couple of months, and really just made mundane things that little bit nicer and a little bit more special, so that I'm lots of little moments of joy throughout my day.
This is just reminding me of something that I saw on social media that really resonated with me. And we talk a lot about triggers and anxiety and things that trigger us, and oh, now I feel triggered. These moments you're talking about are called glimmers. I've seen this on the socials. So it's like these moments, like pick out the glimmers in your day and like sit in that moment, like enjoy those little moments. And exactly that habit stacking, the more you do these, like the easier it will become. And what I find really powerful in this is that you are in control of your time, what you do, how you do it, how you think. And when you start reframing the way you do things, like you think, oh gosh, like, I'm really proud that I've changed that. I've done that. I've made myself feel better. So if anyone's sat there thinking, oh, like this is impossible, just start with one thing a day. Literally one thing a day that's going to take you 2 minutes, and really sit with that moment, get involved with it, like whatever it is. And then the next day, do it for 2 minutes. Do that for a week, and then add on from that. Don't overwhelm yourself with this. But honestly, if you're thinking, I'm feeling overwhelmed all of the time, like how am I going to do any of this that you girls are telling me? You can change the way that you feel about that.
I think it's and something as well, we all sit at the start of this year and at times of this year and think, yes, we want to make changes for the year. Some people want to take things away. We're telling you to add things in. We want you to add things in. It's not about taking things away. It's about, adding more joy, adding more experiences, adding more habits that are going to make you feel better, be more effective at work, make a positive difference and open up opportunities for you inside your business. And, I personally am somebody that, can fire off the starting blocks really, really well and, put these things into my business. And then, it gets to week 3, it gets to week 4, and, I might not do it so much. But this, sprinkling of joy, I found really easy, and I really love to do it. So, when I put my face cream on in the morning, I'm really enjoying putting it on and, getting enjoyment out of my skincare routine, rather than just thinking, oh God, I've got to take my makeup off. Like, that's boring, or like,
Like almost that feeling like you've got to do something because you should be doing it. Like, oh, I
yeah.
should be doing this.
Whereas when I take my makeup off now, I use my nice little face device thing. What do we call that? I call it like a face snatcher, but it's like it like massages your face and like rubs your cream into your face. It's like this little device that like you rub your face with. I'm not really making any sense.
Sounds amazing.
But I'm enjoying that. And sleep routine as well. Let's talk about sleep, really. Yeah, and just dive into sleep a little bit.
So sleep
It's so
is
important.
yeah, it is so important, and I suppose it can cause quite a lot of contention with people. I'm always a good sleeper, whether I'm stressed, whether I'm not stressed, but my issue is I would wake up really early, and that lack of sleep not only affects your mood and your energy levels, but can really impair, and this what happened to me, decision making abilities. Everything feels so muddled. So make sure you've got a good sleep hygiene, as your business decisions will be so much sharper, and everything will be a lot easier if you're just having a decent night's sleep. And I know that is easier said than done. Okay, I know that. I know, but Katie's been looking at her sleep hygiene recently. So if you've got any tips or anything,
Yeah, it's really difficult. And I think, you said something like you sleep really well. I've slept really well until the last sort of, I'd say 6 months. And that's not right for me. And I know a lot of women, especially women, because it's linked to hormones, will be listening to this thinking, sleep, what is sleep? I don't record sleep. And even those of you that maybe not be at the age where, hormones may be kicking in, and one of the, for a lot of women, for over 50% of women actually, they will struggle with their sleep when they hit perimenopause or menopause or postmenopause in their life. But maybe you're somebody that works shifts. Maybe you've got young children at home, or maybe you are caring for somebody and your sleep gets interrupted. It's all the same. And actually, there was a study that was done, and it's on a podcast. So if you're interested in this subject, you can go and listen to a podcast by Stephen Bartlett. And he had an expert on his most recent podcast that came out this week, actually, about sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that shift workers on average, because of the lack of routine and the disturbance in their sleep, live on average 15 years less than non-shift workers. That's immense and just shows how important sleep is. So yes, I have been looking at my sleep. This is because my sleep has been absolutely fine. If nothing's really going on, like illness or stress or anything like that, it's generally been fine until it wasn't. And it was like very much like literally a light switch had gone, oh, your brain doesn't know how to go to sleep anymore. So, go and speak to your doctor and advocate for yourself. And I'm saying this because I'm having to advocate for myself and, find a doctor that has listened to me. I've had a doctor that hasn't listened to me. I've had another doctor that hasn't listened to me, and told, go and do the meditations. I've meditated for a long time, and people on this podcast will know that I've meditated for a long time, and I've had really good sleep, patterns to get into sleep. Some things that I've helped during this period, whilst the sleep thing's being investigated for me, because I'm not on anything to help me, anything artificial to help me anyway, or haven't really got to the bottom of why we're not sleeping properly yet. I've got an idea as to what it may be, maybe that age now.
Watch this space.
Watch this space, maybe. But I try and light a candle in my room before I go to sleep, like a sleep smell candle, smells that feel relaxing to me. So smells that may bring back memories of being at spa days when I've been really relaxed, or like lavenders, things like that I connect with and make me feel calm. So my candle gets lit before I go to bed, a couple of hours before I go to bed, like infuse my room. I moisturize before I go to bed. I even have bought a little electromagnetic stimulant device to try and help. We'll watch that space about that one. It's not helping yet, but I also bought one for you, so it may work for you. We don't know. we're gonna try. But for me, it's not about having a full night's sleep. A full night's sleep might seem really impossible to you as well, to people who may be listening. It's just about having maybe a better night's sleep than the night before, and those 2%, again, if you can just increase it, or have a little bit more sleep than the night before, it does add up. And I know not always you'll get a good night's sleep, and my son can be up in the night some of the time and wake me up, so even if I do manage to get to sleep, some of the time I'm awake again. But I can handle that if I've had a period of good sleep before then. But yeah, it does affect your mood, it affects your energy, it affects your cognition. I've found moments where I've like completely lost my trail of thought, and I'm like, as much as I'm trying, that thing about wading through mud again, it can be really, really difficult to get to. Try all of the things. Try the things that were meant to, meditation, which is meditating before bed. I love that one.
I love that. I was like, hold on, did she say that word wrong? Meditation.
So it's like meditation, but I've meditated before bed. I just listen to white noise, or I listen to meditations, and I've done that for a really long time because I just find it relaxing. But if you're finding that you've all of a sudden got a problem with sleep, or you're finding that the things that you've been doing aren't working, or you've tried some of these things first and foremost, please go and advocate for yourself. Hopefully, watch this space, things will start to improve for me. We're in the process, and seeing my doctor regularly now, and I seem to have a doctor that is saying the right things to me. So I'm really, and that's all I want to say, is like really push for that, because not even just for your business, for your life, it's just so important. It just makes everything so much harder.
Doesn't
everything.
It? Yeah. Mm.
You can feel yourself just getting snappy over nothing, and you're like, oh, it's because headache a lot. Yeah, let's stop. I'm going to jump into a sleep thing.
Maybe we should do a whole podcast on sleep.
Yeah, I think we should. For sure. So aside from sleep, and I know that we've really talked about sleep there, but it's so, so important. And I think just, that 15 years less, that's a
That's a
crazy
lot.
statistic.
That's a
You
lot of
know,
time.
people who are, getting enough sleep and, you know, getting a solid amount of sleep live longer. So it's so important.
Mm.
Some other things that you can do inside your day to just really incorporate some wellness. It doesn't need to be, I need to carve out 2 hours of my time or an hour of my time. I listened to a podcast the other week that was like, oh, on a similar subject actually. And they were saying about, I want you to dedicate an hour a day. And I thought, God, where am I going to find an hour a day? Like, where? But what I can commit to is a couple of minutes. And then maybe as things get easier, I can commit 10 minutes and then maybe 15 minutes. And then some days, maybe I do have an hour. But it's just about sprinkling it and doing that habit stacking that we talked about. Take breaks. That's really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can be bad for this, can't we? That we sit at our laptop,
We will sit at our laptops.
eat our lunch at our laptop sometimes.
Yeah.
But having like short breaks is so important. Even, and this is something we need to get better at, isn't it? Just to move, having a movement break, getting some fresh air. It's simple, but it's such an effective way to recharge yourself.
This is something I really want me and I want us to do. Even I would like us to be like, right, 5 minute break now. Let's go, literally go out the house and go for a walk, because I've spent a lot of time in like the office staring at the screen. And actually, on the staring at the screen now, took my daughter to the optician's yesterday, and she's been having a lot of screen time, and he could see that from looking in her eyes. And
That's crazy. So
I felt like a bad mum.
we've been trying to do this with my daughter, actually pull her away from the screen a little bit. And this is
Mm.
because she's been getting headaches, and, her headaches get quite bad. And I was like, right, what can we do? I'm going to uptake the water, exactly like the stuff we're telling you to do today, decrease the screen time. So yeah, we're trying to find, big pieces of paper on the floor and, let's do some colouring in. Let's,
God.
do some crafting. It's difficult because it's on you then, isn't it? And it's so
Yeah.
easy to just be like, there's the screen, because that's what they want as well. That's like,
Mm.
they want activity and
Yeah.
stimulation and things.
He was saying that there's different types of blinking. I'm not going to go way into this, but I was like, this is mind blowing. So there's like, sometimes you half blink when you're concentrating, sometimes when you're concentrating a lot, like playing on games like Fortnite, which my daughter plays now, you don't
Yeah.
blink for like a whole minute. It's like, that is bad for your eyes. You need to take blinking breaks. Actual big blinking breaks. It's crazy.
It's so funny actually, because years and years ago they would tell you actually that, I know for concentration levels it's something like 40 minutes, and then your concentration dips. But I'm sure you were meant to have screen time breaks every 2 hours, and that's something that we don't incorporate. And actually, as a business with more than one employee in our business, we probably should have rules around that. And it's something that you can be strict about and say, you know what, every 2 hours, you can set a little alarm on your phone. You're going to take a 5 minute movement break where it's up, go and make a cup of tea if you want to make a cup of tea.
Dance around to some music. This is what I've started doing, getting my steps in as well.
Yeah, go out into the garden if you want. Just 2 minutes. Don't put the washing on. We don't want you to go away
No,
and think about doing the dishes, because I know that
oh,
will be
still
so
clean the
easy.
windows.
Um, but it's just about finding little moments, and they will stack up, like the little moments that I'm doing. They will stack up. They'll One of the things I want to do this year is find more joy. And it's
I love that. I really
yeah.
love that, because that's something that's really simple. Well,
Yeah,
you think it would be simple, but actually actively seeking that's nice. I like that.
yeah, and we're going to bring on the person that pitched me on this to come and talk to you about this, because it's just made it's probably just enriched my life that little bit better, because it's very easy to just keep your head down and just be going through the stuff, right? Going through the motions, going through the stuff. The routine can become quite mundane. Things are going on, and then we tend to focus on, the argument we had, or the kids not doing the thing that we asked them to do, or that demand that somebody's asked you to do that you don't really want to do but you've said yes to. And very quickly, our brains are wired to do that. We can just feel burnt out and overwhelmed and exhausted. And this is why we're not asking you to do an hour's self-care a day and committing to, learning a new language in a month, or, we want you to transform your business in 30 days. We're not about that. It doesn't work. It's like a one-way ticket to burnout. Like, we're busy anyway. You're a busy business owner anyway. But this way, and this is why I'm going to get Raquel on to come and talk about this, is just little things we can do that we can stack up as habits in our business, in our personal life, whether it's something business related, getting visible, opening up more opportunities for yourself at work, whatever it may be, working on your marketing, working on your business plan, whatever it is, or in your personal life, and self-care, lighting that candle, taking that bath, saying, I'm having 20 minutes to myself a day, or 10 minutes to myself a day, where, kids, you're not allowed to disturb me.
Mhm.
Or 10 minutes with the kids on an evening, watch the difference, watch their behavior become better,
Yeah.
watch, your happiness and your joy become better. And I've found it amazing. And I constantly check in with the coach and say, oh, I have, bought myself some flowers, or lit my candle, or, the expensive creams that I don't want to open, or, do you know what, that perfume that someone bought me, I wore my expensive jewelry just because, like, and that's what it is. That's what
I,
it is.
and I can tell, like, it's all making sense now. Over the last, like, what? Month?
Yeah, it was November.
Yeah.
Yeah, November
Yeah.
time. I'm like, do you know what? Sod it. Like, sod
Sod
it.
it.
You
Like,
know,
these hours, these minutes in our days, like, we have routines that we have to stick to. There are lots of things that they are what they are, and we have to just get through them. So find the moments of joy, find those glimmers. Oh, I really like that. I don't know what, like, I'm coming off the back of this podcast. I'm like, right, I'm gonna go and find some joy.
yeah, you should. And that's my word. It's actually on my vision board.
Love it.
Uh,
Something so simple that's getting overlooked for not probably, definitely a lot of people, a lot of listeners that are listening right now. So another little thing that you can do that doesn't have to a long time out of your day is meditation. So bear with me when I say those words. It doesn't have to be woo, it doesn't have to be lengthy. Even just a couple of minutes a day really can make a significant difference in reducing stress and increasing your focus. I do this by doing something called grounding. And this is something I learned when I was having CBT. Basically, it's quieting the noise down in your mind for a couple of minutes, just closing your eyes, and you're listening for the sounds that you can hear. You are smelling things around you that you can smell, and this will come into having those nice candles and then those nice smells. What can you feel around you when you've got your eyes closed? And it's about training your brain to focus on one thing at one time. And I have found this so helpful to me. Like, my brain can get very muddled, like my anxiety likes to put it all into a blender for me. But just by taking a step back and practicing grounding, and there's lots of other methods out there as well, it's just helped calm the cray cray. That is helped calm that
I think
crazy and go on.
breath work is really important as well.
Yeah.
And even if you only meditate for a couple of minutes, it's something that we do in my house, and my partner does it. Actually, he does it every day. I tend to listen to meditations at night. That's when they work for me. But he's like a morning meditating person, and that's only been sort of the last few months as well, focusing on breath work, focusing on calmness.
Mm.
There's some really good apps out there. Calm, Headspace is a really good app. I use Headspace. We both do you use Calm? What do you use? I use Calm as well.
Yeah, Calm, Headspace. I like those on there. And there was one that, and I will pop the link in the show notes. I cannot think of the name, but one of our coaching clients said that you get a year's free. Is it Better Me, Better Health,
Better Way. Is it Better Way?
something like
Something
that?
like
But
that.
I'll pop the link in the show notes. You get a whole year free, as long as you cancel before that subscription renews after the 12 months. You get a year's free of content for this stuff. So I'll put that link in the show notes.
Yeah, I think it just helps you to regulate. I think that's the word, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
regulate, keep at a level. It's not about bringing your best self all the time. You know, if you can only bring 40% of yourself, but you bring the full 40%, you've pulled 100%.
Yeah.
And I think what's really important to know is that when you're prioritizing yourself, you're investing in that longevity of your business. And absolutely, you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's that thing about, you know, putting your oxygen mask on before you put anybody else's oxygen mask on. Like,
Mm.
you need to help yourself before you can help everybody else. So we really want you to focus on making a change, making wellness a priority in 2024, however that looks for you, your business, your clients, and most importantly, you are going to thank you for it.
Definitely.
By the end of
And
the year.
we speak from experience. Like, I don't mind saying that I have not always had the best self-care, which has led to having complete anxiety burnouts. And that is down to me not looking after myself before everybody else and thinking I can do it all of the time. I can show up here, there, and literally everywhere. And you can't. You have to put yourself first. You have to look after you, and importantly, learn to say no to things you don't want to do. But having this wellness incorporated into your daily life, you will see a difference. You 100% will.
For sure. And what we want you to do is, you know, think of that challenge, think of that one thing that you're going to
Mhm.
do, think of that habit stack that you're going to do. Let us know how you're getting on, you know, track your journey, journal it, maybe take a selfie, however that looks for you. And that one focus, whether it's going to be, you know, bringing joy, whether it's going to be increasing by a couple of percent a day, whether it's, you know, something new that you want to try. Spend a few moments now just really thinking about what it is, what's going to make the difference to you and your life. And it doesn't need to be huge. Like, honestly, we're not taking anything away here. We're adding things in. So, you know, thank you for joining us today on this, you know, podcast where we've really dived into
Mm.
a little bit different today, really, haven't we? But it absolutely stacks up and
Yeah.
is so important for your business.
This
There's
is
no
as
point.
important as
Yeah.
nailing your sales, getting the clients, doing all of those things. This is where it starts with you.
Yeah, you can't do it from, and this is why we focus on mindset, you know, in our programs, isn't it? Because you can't do
Mhm.
it, like, you know, if your mindset's off, or, you know, you don't really believe you can do it, or, you know, you're not focused, or you're not committed to making the changes. So yeah, hopefully we've inspired you today to make a little bit of a difference. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, take care.
We'll see you on the next episode. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the WedPro Podcast. Full transcribes of this episode, plus every other episode we have done, are available at www.theweddingbusinesshub.com/blogs. Thanks so much for listening. If you do have any questions about this episode or anything else at all, you can email us at info@theweddingbusinesshub.com. And if you are loving our episodes, which I know you are, make sure you hit the subscribe or follow button so you can stay updated with any new episodes that land. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode.